Hi, I'm Queenie. I have a message and I'm gonna need you to buckle up. When we look at what's going on right now in the world and the times that we're living in, we got to realize that it's time to be discerning, it's time to be still, and it's time to be able to hear and listen clearly to what the Spirit of God is saying to us. And so God gave me this message about the untapped power of womanhood. And so the first thing that came to me was the scripture where God is in the garden and Adam and Eve had already fallen, and God was cursing Satan. And he said to him that he was going to put enmity between the serpent and the woman, and that the serpent would bruise her heel, but she would bruise his head. And God told me that he was basically giving us a clue that we would be at war with the enemy, specifically women would be under siege with the enemy, but that we would have power over him, and that we might be hurt by things, but we can crush him for what he's doing and has done to us. So the word enmity means a state or feeling of being actively opposed or hostile to someone or something. So God was letting us know way back then that we were going to be dealing with oppression on a massive scale. And so when you look at the lives of women, I want you to pay attention to the women in your life and just notice women over the next 3 or 4 or 5 days. Look into the eyes of the women you walk across that cross your path. Look into their eyes. Notice if their light is still bright or if it has gotten dim. Pay attention to whether or not she's still vibrant and exuberant, or if she's kind of cowering and made herself small. Also notice the age of the woman. Notice if she's older, if she's still vibrant and bright, or if you're starting to notice a pattern that almost all of the women who are of a certain age, they have a certain dimness to them, or they have a certain weight where they have kind of shrunk and made themselves small. Now, we all believe that, over time, because of age and because of our spine tends to collapse as we get older, right? But there's a difference in the spinal collapse and a woman actually cowering and becoming and making herself small. It's a difference. But I want you to pay attention. And so now let me tell you a story. I recently I started doing these conversations called Straight to Her Heart, and they've been really powerful in that it's opening our eyes to a different level of understanding of womanhood and the heart space that we're all in, and how we're impacted by our mother line, grandmother to daughter to granddaughter and beyond, right? So I had a conversation with a beautiful woman the other day, and she was sharing that her mother, when she was born, her mother was very angry. Her mother was tormented, even mentally, and that she was cruel to them and abusive in a lot of ways, and it was hurtful. But that was the reality that she lived. And as they grew, and as her mother became an older woman, she continued to allow herself to deteriorate and become more angry and more bitter and more mentally unstable. And then finally, when she was on her deathbed, she was released of it, and she was peaceful. She was kind and loving, the mother. She was gentle, and she had so much love to give, but she was on her deathbed. And it dawned on me in the conversation with the woman that the enemy had ravaged her life. He ravaged her children with abuse at her hand. He ravaged even her grandchildren, because the children learn from the parents how to treat their children. And so she was, it was tragic, but she recognized that she followed the same pattern that her mother laid out for her, and she was treating her children in the same way that her mother had treated her. And so at the end of it, it dawned on me that the enemy ravaged her life all the way to the end and then released her. And she was free from that oppression, not until the very end. On her deathbed was she able to receive and give the love that could have been flowing through her the entire time. And so to me, that showed me the enmity that existed between that woman and the enemy. But because that woman was not aware of the power that she held, she fell prey to it and she succumbed to it until the enemy was done with her, released her from it, and moved on to go and torment something or someone else, possibly even in her same mother line. That gave me pause because as women, we don't realize that God has given us authority and dominion, not just women. He gave it to all of mankind, right? Because we are all made in his image and made like God, able to do godlike stuff in these bodies on this planet that he's given us dominion over. But that woman had been ravaged her entire life, and it impacted her child and her child's child. And that was the plan. But the woman didn't understand that she had power over that. And that's what we need to have a conversation about. Because a lot of times our woundedness gets in the way of our ability to access our power. It gets in the way of our ability to understand our identity, our authority, our inheritance, and the assignment that God placed on us. And we can't walk in it. Our wounds keep us blind to it. Our wounds keep us angry and bitter and blessed and highly favored, but still in the muck of the yuck of the pain. So I wanted to have this quick conversation with you because we got to get this as women. We got to know that there is an enemy and there has been enmity placed between us and the enemy as a curse to him. And God knew that he put power on the inside of the woman. If you remember in the book of Proverbs, when God talks about when he's sharing wisdom to us, he calls wisdom a she. That's the pronoun God uses to describe wisdom. He gave women a heightened level of intuition. He gave us the ability to multitask, the ability to love unconditionally in multi directions, the ability to handle all the things that we handle as women, even though a lot of the things that we're handling, we're not doing it in balance, and it's causing a whole lot of other issues, which we will talk about too, which I discuss in Straight to Her Heart. But it's imperative that we have this conversation, women, because we have a lot of power at our fingertips, but we don't understand it. And because we don't understand it, we're not walking in it. And then we're overcome by it. And it's not just affecting us, it's affecting our children and our children's children. And ultimately, our entire family line is being impacted by this. So we get to have the conversation about how to heal our hearts and how to rise into the power that God put on the inside of womankind. And, I'm not throwing shade at men, but God made women different. Womanhood is a birthright. It is a powerful endowment that we don't fully understand, although the enemy does, which is why we've been oppressed, which is why we are so misunderstood, which is why women have been invalidated for eons. And even our empathy is invalidated, but that's a superpower. So I want to invite you to join me this coming Tuesday at Straight to Her Heart, where I go into depth and to help you understand the situation that we're facing as far as our mother line is concerned, and how our great grandmothers and our grandmothers and our mothers and we as daughters and our daughters and beyond, how they're all impacted by the wounds that we are carrying that are passed down from generation to generation, the coping mechanisms that are passed down from generation to generation, the beliefs about our abilities, the beliefs about our identity in God that have been passed down and muddied by religion, but passed down to our own disempowerment in a lot of ways. So we get to rise out of it, and I get to be your guide. And I'm super excited because this message is hot off the press. And we get to rise into a new level of womanhood and understand that we don't have to be overcome by the wounds that we've been carrying. They get lodged in our bodies. It shows up as disease. There's just so much more to it than we realize. So please join me this coming this coming Tuesday. Actually, I'll probably host it multiple times. So go ahead and register. And if you can't make it, then I'll be sure to invite you to the next showing. Being there live is so impactful. It will help you to extract some of the stuff that's on the inside of you as we move through this, because we all get to heal. We get to move beyond this. And right now, with the days that we're living in, it's time out for playing church. We don't have time to not understand the power that we hold. We don't have time to have anything muddying the waters that keep us from walking in our power. So I'm Queenie Brown. I'm a certified master life and business coach. I'm also a women's empowerment author. I walk in some amazing prophetic gifts that God has endowed me with, and I am here to share those gifts with you and to impart some of the wisdom that God has given me to support and undergird the word of God that he's given us. And we don't have to be ignorant. We get to be in the know. We get to have wisdom show up and cry loud in the street so that we can be free. All right. I'm excited. Please do share this message. Be sure to like it. Be sure to subscribe, comment if you want to chat back at me. This is a conversation that needs to be had on a larger scale, and I'm super excited to be your guide and to open up the conversation so that we can go deeper together. All right. Be blessed. I'll see you at Straight to Her Heart this coming Tuesday, possibly Tuesday and Thursday of next week and beyond, because we've got to get to the heart of the matter. All right. Be blessed. Have a fabulous day. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.